This is what the top investor in Apple and Nvidia literally worked and mentored with Steve Jobs and the CEO of Nvidia. He said these are the two most important financial factors for your business. Like if you don't pay attention to these, you're going to be part of the 82% of business owners that go out of business. So you're going to want to pay attention to this guy. His name is Don Valentine, and he is one of the co-founders of Sequoia Capital. He said that there are two financial factors that matter most. Here's the quote verbatim. There are two things in business that matter, and you can learn this in 2 minutes. You don't have to go to business school for 2 years. A lot of twos, right? High gross margins, number one, that's very important. And second, cash flow. The other financial metrics you can forget. This guy has invested and mentored the most successful entrepreneurs and companies of all time. So let's break this down. What does that mean, high gross margins? Well, let me tell you what high gross margins mean. So a previous business finance company I had, we were doing well. We were bringing in millions of dollars. We're sponsoring events with Russell Brunson and Grant Cardone. On the outside, it looks like we are super successful, traveling all over the country, doing all these events, sending our team to events across the country. But there's a big problem, right? Week to week, I'm in payroll meetings and I'm like, God, we're not going to be able to cover payroll. I'm not going to be able to pay myself. Am I even going to be able to make my mortgage payment? Are we going to pay our rent payment this month? All these issues start stacking up, and what happens is our gross margins are terrible. They are terrible. Gross margins are what's left over after you sell your product or fulfill on your service, and then you have to have enough money left over after that to take care of your operating expenses. A good example of gross margins is, let's say you're selling a product on Amazon, right? You've got an e-commerce business and you can buy the product from a supplier, for $50, and you can sell it on Amazon for $100. Well, good. You're getting twice the amount of your cost. Your gross margins in that case are about 50%, right? You're buying it at 50, selling it at 100, so you got 50% gross margins there. But then you also have all your operating expenses. Maybe you've got rent, maybe you've got some marketers to pay, you've got a team to pay, you've got all these other expenses, and so high gross margins make a big difference. Now imagine if that same product you can buy for 50, what if you could sell it for 150? Now your gross margins are massive, right? So that's great. Those are high gross margins are the key to success, and you have to keep on working and making your offer more valuable and delivering a better product and service that differentiates you from the competition so you're not commoditized in a race to the bottom. So that's number one, high gross margins. Number two is cash flow. Cash flow, we think about net profits, right? So I have the money come in, I have the money go out, but it's not just my expenses, right? Sometimes I take money out to pay myself as a business owner. Sometimes I pay a loan balance down. That's not an expense, right? That's just a loan balance that I've paid down. And so you can still be profitable on your profit and loss. And if you're using something like MyFigures.com to do it, that's a great place to go. But just because you're profitable doesn't mean you actually have cash flow. And so there are all these factors where cash flow is king. Cash flow is what matters. Money comes in, money comes out. You have to manage those cash balances. You have to know what's coming in, what's coming out. And then most importantly, you've got to be able to make good decisions based on your cash flow. And these are the reasons why these businesses have done so well. Every one of them, whether it's Nvidia, Apple, Google, YouTube, PayPal, they had amazing high gross margins and lots of cash flow. And that's what makes your business valuable. If you have what's called earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, called EBITDA, EBITDA is what makes your business valuable. That's how you can sell it. That's how you can eventually, do an IPO. And so this cash flow and high gross margin things, like those are the two things you have to watch. Do the other metrics have any value? Sure, a little bit, but if you're not tracking those two metrics, then your business is going to get in trouble. And really at the end of the day, what I've learned over 20 years of being an entrepreneur is there are 3 cash flow secrets that make all the difference. And so I actually just created a free book for you. You can go to cashflowsecrets.com, that's cashflowsecrets.com, and download this free book that's entitled The 3 Cash Flow Secrets That Helped Me to Build an 8-Figure Business. So check that out and make sure you're learning from a guy like Don Valentine. The 2 things that matter in business, high gross margins and cash flow. Go get your free book at cashflowsecrets.com, and we'll see you next time.